and this other person, 3 guys already. I hope you guys are doing well. Good morning, Alan. Yeah. So thank you for being here. I'm going to do a short broadcast today. Someone is bringing my German Shepherd, and they're going to call me on this very phone, and it might disturb us, saying, "Now, Kuba," and then I go off to talk to him, and then I can come back. Then I'll come back. But if that's impossible, then that's how it will go. So today I wanted us to talk about how we can't get a good deal. What is a good deal? And because a good deal for you might not be a good deal for me. My youngest son could read the word motorcycle today. I hadn't even realized it was the word. I've just seen it here. Yeah. So I hope you're doing well. So yesterday we bought Bam Care. Yeah. So yesterday we bought a Paso Sete. It was the first time I actually sat in that car. Then I realized akamoto kaka actually sikabika Paso Sete. N'abantu abakaguze bennyini, it was the first time for them to sit in it. It was actually not a bad car. It's a decent car. Then the other day we bought a Toyota Ipsum. I posted them in the camera very clear because there is a lot of light coming in. There is a lot of light. Whenever there is plenty of light, camera here bikabulungi. That's why I want to put a light up here. Yeah. Good morning, good evening, Isaac. Sorry, I'm used to the morning broadcast. Yeah. So today is Saturday. Saturday 18th. So 18 plus 31 days into the year of 2023. So I want us to first of all understand what is a good deal. Let me first go and try to describe what the condition of the Paso Setes is like in the market, because someone would then ask me, Emma definitely asked me, Arthur, you told us they should go to the bond. Definitely, that's what I said. But I want you to remember the condition I added to the statement. I told you guys, go to the bond, take a million years bakubanje, if you can raise more money in that, because of bond and of course you can pay after a year. Good Bam Kakea. Yeah, my WhatsApp number 752-991-051. I'm sure Mr. Emma can help me write that one. Comments 0752-991-051. Yeah. So when I was telling you guys, and when Nzaburi change and take a condition, why? Because I totally understand that not everyone can do that. So when I keep telling you guys, if you have 20 million right now, and that's my mindset, it hasn't changed. If you have 20 million, the advice I would actually give you, if you can raise more money in the next few months, go to the bond, deposit the 20 million, get a new car and start driving. Okay? If you want to buy a car that is 20 million, don't buy a used car, ideally. Go to the bond, deposit the 20 million, and then pay the balance in time. Now, why I say that is because majority of the time, the people that have 20 million, they want to buy these cars. Spacio, Primo, mostly those two, Spacio, Primo, mostly those two. Some people want the Sienta, some people want the RAV4 and Rumion. Of course, you can't get a Rumion at 20 million. Okay? Some people want the Rush. Rush million abire Jakubambi. Ontegera, because the Rush is 40 million in the bond. Okay? Thank you, Emma. Actually, yes, Bam Kake. It's even in the description of this channel. My WhatsApp number is there. Yeah. So 20 million ideally, you could go and deposit the 20 million and pay like a 10 balance later. Okay. Now let me try to dissect the Paso Sete, because one of my followers who has a rush said, okay, the Paso Sete is 28 million in the bond. Was that a good deal, really? Now I want to the VITS is going for 28 to 30 million. Yes, at a zero condition, which is what I'm going to try and describe right now. The Paso Sete, majority of the Paso Sete is on the road at 4-wheel drive. I've been telling you for a long time, 4-wheel drive is not needed in Uganda, muzine moroke entono, because all our small cars are front-wheel drives. Toina wogenda kusesanga mu Uganda at any time nga wetaaga 4-wheel drive ku mmotoka zaffe ezisikira mu maaso. It's a very rare scenario. Okitegeera. And some of these cars, they are full-time 4-wheel drive. So you'll find that you're driving a 1.5cc car and you're consuming fuel of a 1.8 or 2.0cc car. Katutandika okwebuuza lwaki eno eyange emmoroka enywa, because you bought a 4-wheel drive. Now, 4-wheel drive cars are the cheap cars in the bonds. Nti ojja kusanga omuntu nga mwine emmoroka yeemu, you have the same type of car, but nga ye yagigula $3.2 gwe ye wagigula $2.28. Ontegeera kye nkugamba? And then you'll ask yourself, why did this one buy it more expensively than me? Sometimes it's a very simple thing. Color. Black is cheaper than silver and white. Red is definitely cheaper than all the other colors. Blue is definitely cheaper. Silver and white are the most expensive colors in the bond. Okay? The other thing, a 4-wheel drive car is cheaper than a 2-wheel drive car. So you go buy a Sienta. If it's a 4-wheel drive, it will be cheaper than a 2-wheel drive car. Okay? You go buy the Paso Sete, 4-wheel drive will be cheaper than a 2-wheel drive. So majority of the people that have bought a Paso Sete, 28 million, 29 million in the bond, they bought the 4-wheel drive car. Okay? Katujja kwesanga nga you're contemplating lwaki emmoroka ya bond sije mwafunye. Of course, I'm going to explain that. But it's important for you to understand that when you go to the bond, a 4-wheel drive car will be cheaper than a 2-wheel drive. So you'll have to ask yourself, do I really need a 4-wheel drive car? Will it give me something extra? Because majority of the time I've realized a motoka 4-wheel one ikampa to ina woje tagira. Kati me, I live 35 kilometers from the city center. Okay, but I've never needed 4-wheel drive. I think I've got to be ataka. But I've never needed 4-wheel drive. The other thing that makes cars cheap in the bond is the mileage. Okay, if the mileage is high, the car will definitely be cheaper than the one that has a low mileage. The other thing that makes cars cheaper in the bond sometimes, I told you some time back that when these guys are importing cars from Japan, they import in classes. Okay, Nti class 10 might be the best. Class 1 is accident. Class 2 area weto. But majority of these guys, they import class 3 and class 3.5. Okay? So you need to understand when you go to the bond, what class of car are you buying? And class, they do inspection. They do inspection and then they classify. Katugoja gendo ogule moroka yonga class 2.5, oli yaguze class 4, gogambe bamusedde, naye nga yaguze emmoroka eri in a better condition than yours. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Ontegeera. So some of these cars, and you guys stop looking at the prices on Gigi. Prices on Gigi are meant to pull you. I remember when we were buying Dennis's Ipsam, Yagamba, a Machindi, what your fan cargo? We went to Machindi, the fan cargo wasn't there. It wasn't a fan cargo, it was a what car? But we went to Machindi, and the only car that was there, it was much more expensive. Cars moving are all 4 wheels means they are all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive, yeah, they have additional consumption. Yeah. And all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is different, Alan, from 4-wheel. All-wheel drive can actually use 2 tires, okay? But 4-wheel drive uses all the 4. Now, it's mostly Subarus that are all-wheel drive. Now, all-wheel drive is, it can give power to 1 tire, actually. If the 1 tire is what needs, it takes all the power from all the other tires. It can give power to 2 tires. or in front or behind. It can give tire power to only one side of you get. So all-wheel drive is refined. However, majority of the cars that are Toyota are actually four-wheel. Okay, Kati, you see the Ipsum we bought 2 days ago. It was four-wheel drive, full time. Which take it was four-wheel drive full time. So the conversion took a little more time because when they kula word we bagira ine bajjaka amaguru ge mabega ngatesobola kutambula because amaguru ge mabega gabadega controlling. Okitegeera, so ne bagirawa and then they change the setting in the gearbox to make it two-wheel drive front. Okay, so but emoroka ya four-wheel drive ebe enywamukko ku mafuta. So whenever you're buying, especially when you're buying a small car, tuba tugenza okuyamako abantu okugula emoroka, the first thing we do is look down to make sure we're not buying a four-wheel drive car because teyetagisa e Kampala. Okitegeera. And also, mark you, before we help someone buy a car, we look at the bond prices. Netumanya, what is the price in the market? And then, before we help someone buy a car, I understand the situation. Let me introduce these three things for you. There are three concepts when you're going to buy a car. There is a concept of time, there is a concept of money, there is a concept of use. Three concepts: time, money, use. Okay? Time, money, use. Let me just add another concept to make them four. The concept of person. Four concepts: person, time, money, use. Whenever you're going to buy a car, I want you to have these concepts in mind. Okay? There's a concept of person. Who is the buyer? Hi, Moses. You as a buyer, you're the person. You're the first concept in this. Gwenga gwagendo gule moroka. What can you afford in the next 1 year? Okay? The person is the leading concept muchine echintu. The person who is buying is the first person. Gwensingo okwetegereza nentegeera omuntu agenda ogule moroka eno agenda gikozesa ki. Okay? So let me start with the person. The person, before we bought this person, the person that was buying this, actually, it was a recommendation from someone from this channel. Omuntu eyatute moroka eno, the owner of the car, wasn't the person from this channel. It was a relative of his. So I want you to understand the situation that surrounded this. When I got the first call, I had three options: twabadene Raum, nga tuyina Sienta, nga tuyina ne Primo. Okay, those were the three options. Actually, when we started moving in the morning, kifo kye twagisoso genda mwabademu Sienta nga nnya. A Sienta is a very affordable car, by the way. Ngazi UBH 1,17,000, okitegeera, you can bargain definitely. So we would have saved a lot of money. But when we go to that venue, the place we tried to get to have a Sienta, omuntu gotwade tugenda ogulira emmotoka ne yeekyanga n'agamba Sienta sikyazaagala, kati njagala kulaba Primo. Okay? And then, sometimes when we go to look for cars, funny things happen. So we went to, awo nyini wabaddewo Primo, naye ate the owner yabadde takyakwata simu. I don't like buying cars from inside bonds, because emmotoka z'omu bondi ezo baziseera. Bazongeramu miliyoni 4, 5, okitegeera, ate nga bw'ogisanga nnungi olumu oyinza obutalemesa muntu gigula. So because it wasn't there, we made a few calls and we got a Primo somewhere in Chitezi. Twagisanze eri packed mu kikomera kya muntu. So the person who later realized was actually also a broker was driving a Noah. We went to, it was in his home. I think a lady gave it to him to sell for him. Omukyala n'agenda ebweru. So he brought the Primo out. It was a UBA. And basically, it really had no work to be done. Okujjako, it was still in its original condition. Nga tebagisitula. Yabadde ekyali wansi. Ng'era when you go over the humps, you scratch under the car. Okay, so I think the biggest piece of work that needed to be done was lifting the car, making it, giving it higher ground clearance. You get. So that's basically the work. And of course, they needed to buy 2 tires. So let me say 4 springs that needed to be bought and spacers would have cost about 300,000 or 350. And then 2 tires, about 370. That's about 800 to be spent on that car. Okay, but the rest, everything was perfect. And then, so when we saw this car, they liked it. And then I realized, and we discussed with the mechanic, and we said, if they are not going to get any other Primo that is as good as this. And it was a fact. The other Primo was perfect. No scratches, no nothing. It was just the bumper in front that had been omanya abakyala bwe bavuga bakulubula wansi okitegera, because they are not very strategic as they drive over humps. Atejukire emotoka yabadde wansi, but that was no deal. It could be driven the way it was. And according to us, in our experience, when we meet a good car, moving around most of the time is futile. So we discussed with them and we told them we're not going to find another Primo that is good. So the Primo UBA was 20 million. So this guy said broke on mumwe, and the lady ngayagala emitwalo 2 netumunegotiate na tugenda kuwa emitwalo meka 10, because the guy yatandikide million 2 and it's very hard to get a Primo UBA at 20 million. Nalemere million 2 n'emitwalo 10. Okitegeera nge 10 gy'oli omukyala broker. So I didn't tell you the budget was between 15 and 20 million. 15 and 20 million. So the 100 was an extra. And for me, I would have actually told them, mumanye moroka into jiveko tugentonye eri cheap. But the moroka eri cheap atebali jagade, because babade babazo kulabe chiri perfect. It was in perfect condition. You know when I tell you perfect condition, like there is no cause to go buy a Primo at 40 million when you have seen a Primo that is actually good. So we agreed, and the person that was buying was an uncle to one of my followers here. Yabade muntu mukuru. Arthur, I want to start a business when I carry my things in my car. Vacuum, air compressor, washing machine, etc. which pass. I think a wish. I think also, if you're not fuel cautious, buy a newer. Probox would also be good. Na Probox ezikozeko wano bazivuga bubi nnyo. So wish would actually be a better also when saka katanda waguru. Atetenywa. Yeah. So I gave the Primo guys fuel because mafuta. Because I didn't want for us to go to town, pick money, and then come back to Chites. That's hectic. So I told them we have to go together to get them to town. Kumpi ne bank ya mzei ajeyo center azibawe mutuwe transfer forms. Nze sigura moroka transfer form gatezifuluma. Because if the transfer forms don't come out, when you go next time to get the transfer forms, the person that's giving you transfer forms will ask you for money. So for me, I always make sure that we get our transfer forms that very day. So they called the woman abroad. Nabagamba agenda baweereza password ya tin number yetu jemo empapula. So we drove to Kampala Road. But as we were driving to Kampala Road, Muzei mentioned that he was buying the car for the wife. And the wife, they both liked the Paso Sete. We had made calls before, and there were no Paso Setes that were in our budget. All the Paso Setes, these guys were saying 25, 26. And then in the bond, it was 28. And Muzei had a fixed budget. He didn't want to go beyond his budget. So, but there was this particular Paso Sete that was in Mukono. The person had gone to Mukono. And he was coming back to Kampala. So we were driving. And I told my mechanic, you know what? Let's call this guy the Paso Sete. So that we give Muzei some options. Because we realized we were going to buy this Primo, 20,100,000. But also invest about 800,000 in trying to raise it, buy new tires. So because that's already 21. And Muzei was willing to do all those things that very day. And I was thinking, you know what, let's call this person that has the Paso Sete so that Muzei has a look, so that he doesn't set it to a more option. Ndala. So the Paso Sete was BH, the Primo was BA. And Muzei wanted UB series, all his cars. And then all the other Primos that we were going to look at would have been UAZ, UAY, you get, and he would not like them, definitely. Actually, even the Primo that we were going to see in the beginning was a UAY. So, we called the Paso Sete guy. He also asked for fuel. I actually gave him the fuel money later on. I gave him the money, signing and the fuel money. I told him I'm going to give them the money for fuel because it's a very good thing to give people options. So I told him, find us at Kampala Road. So he drove and came. Muzei was sitting in the bank when the Paso Sete came. So the Paso Sete comes and parks. And then I tell this follower of mine, my friend, I tell him, you know what? Let's see this Paso Sete. If you like it, then you can tell Muzei to also come and look at it. So when we went and saw the Paso Sete, it's a 7-seater, 1.5cc. and it was good, nothing to repair. The tires were good, clean. It was simply buy and drive. Okujjako ku bumper wabaddewo obutaala bubiri, the bumper lights, and they of course the seller agreed to deduct the money. He gave us money. Twabuguze emitwalo 15 yazituddiza. And we saw the car. This my friend here from YouTube liked it, and he said, let me go tell Mosei. So he went inside, talked to Mosei, and we waited. And when Mosei came, we went and looked at the car. Personally, this guy that was selling stopped at 21 million. But it was 1 million above our budget. But in the math, remember Ambagambie, the Primo that we were going to buy, we were going to raise it by buying springs and spacers, which were going to cost, and then tires, which was going to cost us about 800. And then we were paying a 100K. And remember, it had a chipapula of 90, which the other person refused to pay. He said, when bata musasule chipapula cha kubana ange sichimanyi, when bata musasule moroka mujireke. And Mosei agreed to pay the 90. So that would have been 21. So for me, in my mind, I was like, okay, this is a better number plate. The car was better for a lady that was going to be driving their kids to school, 7-seater. It's a better family car. And then it was 1.5. The Primo was 1.8. You get, eh? And for the ladies, this Paso Sete would definitely do better. So, Mosei said, Arthur, what do you think? And I told them, definitely. The Primo, we seem to be saving money, but this one makes more sense. Mathematics. I had understood my person, which is the first concept. The second concept is money. Mosei had a fixed budget. Natagala soka million ameka. Era Primo yabadde tasoka nnyo million abiri naye yabadde alina byagenda okukolako, which wasn't necessary, but Mosei didn't like the fact that the car was scratching down on humps. So the money concept was the money was fixed. Okay? Then the time concept, Mosei is going abroad on Sunday. So we had to buy yesterday because he wanted to spend today with his family. So the time was also fixed. Then the use was Madam was going to drive it, probably driving the kids to school, going to the beach and all. So you see the four concepts. I have those four concepts in mind. The person, Mosei and the wife. The use, the one Madam was going to be driving it around, going to work, taking kids to school. The money budget was fixed. The time was limited. Twaba day we had to work within that time. Ate Mosei had appointment at 6, then appointment at 9. Bananga okula kuna abasajja abakulwe baba n'ebyokukola bingi. Era gye tulaga naffe twetegeke. So when considering all those concepts, the Paso Sete was definitely a better option. Yes, in the bond, a 4-wheel drive will be 28, 29. But the 2-wheel will be 31, 32 in good condition, good mileage. Ate ze motoka z'omu bondi, because kano ka BH ketwali tujida kalina emipiira gya wano giwangaala. Emipiira gya bondi tegiwangaala. Ate la ojja kwesanga ogenda gigulayo givugeyo emyezi 3. Gira emipiira gyali gisobola ovuga emyezi nga 6 ku 7. Bweba evugwa nnyo nga nze bwenvuga. Naye bweba tevugwa nnyo gisobola ovuga omwaka. Oli yali ataddeko emipiira gye nga giri okay. Then the transfer process for this Paso Sete was very swift. Omuntu yabadde atuguze emmotoka yabadde yenge eri mannya ge nga he gives us the transfer forms there and then. Hi Hanifa. Okitegeera. The transfer forms. Actually, when we paid for that car, we went to my office at Bat Valley. We got the transfer forms. We printed the transfer forms. This guy gave us his ID. He signed. We went with our transfer forms. Okay? So the Paso Sete was definitely, I think a Primo, you'd find that oli omukyala yabadde tagenda kusainingako so byabaddemu okugaba enguzi nnyingi eri mu URA. Enguzi njogera because it exists. Okitegeera. So when we understand these four concepts, they worked properly. Emmotoka y'omubondi twali tugigula nkya naye nga eggulu nga tevaayo eggulo. Yabadde evaayo Monday because of the number plates. Then ekira emmotoka ya bondi yabadde egenda sigalamu ebbanja. Now, a car as good as a car from the bond would have cost us an extra 10 million. So, hi Adam. So we saved like a 10 ma and bought a perfect car. The car is perfect. We saved the 10 ma. Now, I want you to understand this. And about another 3 concepts that I need you to understand when you're going to buy a car. The 3 concepts are these: ability, need, and want. 3 concepts: ability, need and want. Kati fe abavubuka ebiseera ebisinga, when we are making purchases for a car, we buy want. Tetugula, we forget about ability and need. Okay? We normally buy what we want. I want an SUV. And when I talk to young people that have bought cars, I wanted to buy that kind type of car. I wanted to be up. I wanted the car that did this. I wanted. That's why you find that even most of the people that get cars from the bond as a band, it's a want. It's never about the need. But I want you to understand these three concepts when you're buying a car. There is a concept of ability, there is a concept of need, there is a concept of want. Let me explain. Want. I want a place to stay. No. I need a place to stay. But I want a place in Nigeria. Those are two concepts. I need, high court, I need a place to stay, but I want it in Nigeria. Those are two concepts. If I need a place to stay, I can get it in Karero and I will sleep properly. Okay? But I want it in Nigeria. Want is a condition. Need should not even be called a condition. Want is you putting a condition on your need. I need a car to get me to work, but I want an SUV. I need a car to get me to work, but I want a haundo. I need a place to stay, but I want a 3-bedroom house. I need a place to sleep, but I want a self-contained house. Those are two concepts. Now, the third concept is ability. Are you able to purchase what you want or what you need? That's the third concept, ability. The two concepts are what you need versus what you want. The third concept is what are you able to afford. Kati abavubuka, we as young people, majority of the time when we are buying things like cars, like phones, we forget about the two concepts, need and ability. That's why you'll find that a person stays in a house that costs them 120,000 a month, but they are in a place that is not very secure, but they have an iPhone that costs them 2 million. They needed a phone, a smartphone, but they wanted something that looked flashy, something that would make them stand out. Okay? They needed, but then they created a condition of I want an iPhone 11. Of iPhone 11, Yameka, I don't even know the price. Ideally, what we need is a safe place to stay. Okay? As long as it's safe, go and stay there. But fetugatako biri, I want to stay in Nigeria, I want to stay in Chira, I want to stay in Bukoto, I want to stay in Bugolobi, so you realize that we as young people, most of the time, we go with the want concept and forget about the need and ability. So that you'll find that someone makes 1 million in salary, Nenga they stay in a house of 300,000. Chiteg is already 30% of your salary is going to rent. Nenga there are houses of 250 or there are houses of 200. Sometimes they're even houses of 180. I need to have a child, but then I want 5 children. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I need to have a child, but then I want 5. When people are talking about numbers of kids, they want, but I want 5 kids. How can you have 1 child? How can you have 2? All you need is children to leave a legacy, to leave someone that will remember you, to leave someone that people will remember you by. But you don't need the taxi full of children. Okay? Then that's a want. You need to have children, but then you want to have a taxi full of kids. So, we have so far looked at 7 concepts. The first concept is person. Who is the person that is buying? The second concept is the use. What are they going to use the car for? The third concept is money. What is the budget? Is the budget fixed or open? And then time. How much time do you have to get this car? The other 3 concepts are the need. What do you need? The want. What do you want? Ability. what are you able to afford or buy. Okay. Now, when I'm going to good evening, Paul. When I'm going to help someone buy a car, I consider all these things. Okay. Now, I want us to understand a concept of the segments, the buying segments. Basically, whatever we buy in life, the segments are like this. People between 19 to 26 are emotional. People that are between the ages of 19 to 26 years are emotional buyers. That's why you'll find that you try. I was buying a phone with my sister, my cousin sister. We went to Gazaland. Was it Gazaland? Yeah, we went to Gazaland where I buy my phones. I have a used Samsung. So she wanted to buy Samsung. So I took her to my phone person. And I told her, I'm upgrading my S8 later. If you can wait, I have a Techno that I can give you, and you hold that Techno. She had 200,000. So I told her, I can give you a Techno, and you hold it until I upgrade to my S10, and then you give me the 200,000. So you'll be buying my S8 at the S8 Plus, by the way. You'll be buying my S8 Plus at 200,000. But the difference is you have to wait. Okay? But she's emotional. In her mind she's like, I have to buy my Samsung now. Sure. So she bought an S6 Edge at 210 and nemwongerezako omutwalo so that she can get an S6 Edge. She was an emotional because she's between the ages of 19 to 26 years. Okay? The logical thing for her to do, the practical thing for her to do would be to allow me to give her, without even giving him the money, by the way. I told her, let me give you the Techno so that you use the Techno for now until I give you the S8 and you give me the 200,000. It was a better deal. But because at that time, her adrenaline was high, she wanted to go home with a Samsung. So she ended up buying a Samsung S6 Edge. And when she got home, the Samsung could not use WhatsApp because the Android was older. Okay? So because the Android was older, she could not use WhatsApp. And you know what happened? She upgraded the Android version, and then the phone started dragging. So I told her, you go back to the guy that sold you that phone and see if you can crack a deal. Where's it? So between the ages of 19 to 26 years, we are emotional buyers. That's just how we are made. Whether we are buying a phone, whether we are buying a car, whether we are buying a house, whether we're buying a plot of land, majority of the time, we are emotional buyers. Now, you can go back in time if you're older than 26 and look at the decisions you made when you were in that age range. Me, I remember very well. All the things I did were emotional. And at that time, we normally make a lot of mistakes. So I'd actually prefer that majority of the people that come to buy from me are in this age group because these guys make a lot of mistakes. Now, between the ages of 27 to 40, we have a mixture of emotional and practical. Now, this is to be some marketing. Between the ages of 27 to 40, we are a mixture of emotional and practical. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. We have a mixture of emotional and practical buying. I've seen men that are 40 that are, I have to buy that car, man. I love that car. We still have that some adrenaline of the emotional. Arthur, is it possible to change from 1,000 to 1,300 to any engine above without changing the gearbox and any other parts? It depends. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not. Like with the Vitz, it's possible to just put an engine, not gearbox. You change from 1.0 to 1.3. But majority of the time, if you go from 1.3 to 1.5, you may have to bring the gearbox as well. But it depends on what is compatible in that car that you want to change. It depends on what is compatible. Sometimes you'll find gearboxes that can work with 1.5cc, with a 1.5cc engine. So the mechanic can advise you better. Arthur, talk about the Ipsum that got burnt in the middle of the road. What would have been cars that get burnt? Of course, majority of the time, The causes are wiring issues. There was a wire that wasn't put in the right place. Sometimes it's battery. Positive terminal can hit the body. And when the positive terminal hits the body, so many things can happen. The distributor can get spoiled. The engine itself can get blown. It can burn just the wires, and sometimes it can burn the entire car. But also sometimes bad wiring practices, like they kuyunga the wire and then they don't tape it. You get those very reckless mechanics that people have. And sometimes it's fuel leakages. Like a fuel tanker can have a leakage. It leaks on an exhaust pipe, and then just like that, fire comes. Then sometimes the exhaust system itself, can when it has a hole. That's why it's very important that you work on those. When your exhaust starts sounding funny, fix it. The exhaust itself can spark, because remember there are wires that go under there. The exhaust can burn those wires, and just like that. Sometimes going through water can be fatal. You go through water, it's a cold day, you go through water, the wires in the water there, nezigata, and just like that, your car can burn down. But majority of the time, it's poor wiring. They put a new radio, nebajiyunga bubi. You get, they put a new bulb, even a bulb, by the way. I've seen a car that almost got burnt because of a bulb. They put a bulb, the bulb burns the light, and just like that, the car starts burning. You get, so always, whenever you see that you have a mechanic that is not steady, he panics, he's not stable with what he's doing, they forget, leave that mechanic alone, go get a better mechanic. Amina sereko, amina nyo. So we have talked about the ages 19 to 26, and we're saying these people are normally very emotional buyers. Okay? And then we have said 27 to 40 years, we have, because I'm in that age bracket, we have a mixture of emotional and practical. That's why when you're buying a car, always have a guardian angel. No, I don't do business consultancy. I do marketing consultancy. Of course, most businesses it's marketing. And you'll find that majority of the problems that businesses face are marketing problems, by the way. The business side can be figured out later. But when you have business moving, I don't do business consultancy, I do marketing consultancy. So when you're in the ages of 19 to 40, I recommend that you have a guardian angel. Me, when you're buying your car, I work as a guardian angel. Nkuranga guardian angel to help guide you, to make sure you don't make a mistake, to make sure that brokers, mechanics don't make you make a mistake. That's my role in your car buying process. Okay? I'm a guardian angel. Why? Because between the ages of 19 to 40, we have that emotional aspect. Until we get excited. But you need to have someone that is not emotionally connected to you. Someone that will say, you know what? This is what we need to do. You may not like it, but this is the best decision now. Someone that you will listen to. Someone go again. Because if you go with your brother to buy a car, your brother can tell you something. You can go with your friend. You go with your mechanic. Yeah? You're paying them. They are your mechanic. Actually, there are times I've gone to the field to buy cars with people. That's a bad car. If you want to buy it on your own. And they bought it. Like the person that bought a Mark II, I've been telling you. We went with him to the market to buy a car. 3 million more than what we would have gotten. We went back to the scene and the brokers were saying, Gaya, and then we asked them, and then they told us, and the guy bought it 3 million extra. And at the end of the day, the next day, the guy, I refunded his money, is a pre-purchase inspection. I'm sure he's still happy because he doesn't know. Right? But he made a loss of 3 million. That is money he'll never make back. Today I've been watching a video, and the person was saying, if you find someone buying a Toyota, najigula Kenyan shillings 100,000, then you buy a Mercedes-Benz 3 million shillings. The actual value in the market is, the Toyota is 400,000, the Mercedes-Benz is 2 million. So immediately when you buy a Mercedes-Benz, you lose 1 million. Yet the person that bought a Toyota gains money if he buys properly, by the way. So Paul is saying it's very difficult to buy a car without a guide, because even the brokers can make you buy a car because of the interior looks only. Yeah, and majority of the people that buy cars, even Brian who has just arrived. Hello, Brian. Brian, I got a good Moroka because of interior. Nga ye interior, nange Moroka ye rabise bulungi banange. And then we discussed, and then he made a decision that I'm sure he has never regretted. So we have discovered between the ages of 19 to 26 years, we are emotional buyers, strictly emotional. In your blood, emotion is flowing. That's why between the ages of 19 to 26, especially for us men, it's very hard. It's by chance that we get the right women, because it's emotional. You're a culprit. Even me, in that age group, I was emotional. In between the ages of 19 to 26, it's very hard for us as men to choose the right women in that age group because we are emotional. I was talking to my cousin, and he doesn't have a girlfriend currently, and he has tried a number of girls that he thinks are good, and they are not. He might hear me. And he said, Arthur, and I told him, you know what? Relax. So there is a chick that he wanted to date, and in my experience, this chick is easy. Almost all the guys I know have done her. And I was telling him, you know what? Don't go to that chick. That's a desperate move. You'll go there, they'll break your heart, you'll probably even get disease. Which take it. And he's in the age group that is very bad. He's 26. Agenda kuvayo mom emotion, right? But great. That age group is dangerous. He said, and I told him, no, relax. Don't get to that extreme. You're desperate, and I don't want you to get a woman when you're that desperate. Relax. You'll get a good woman. Arthur, are they charge tax on car stickers when I dress all car? There is a tax that KCC has, but then you'll have to find out. I'm sure it's not a lot. And there are cars that have not yet, it's not yet enforced. There is a law that you're supposed to pay tax, but most cars have not yet paid that tax. Nenga, just know that you may have to pay it. Yeah. So let's go back to emotional. I've just given you a scenario. Of course, me, I got my wife when we were 20. She was 20, very early. She was younger than me, but I was 23. And then we started dating then. And somehow, abakazi baba more mature than us. She was more mature than me. Yeah. And I think one of the reasons Urachi is because nali nkwasaganya business. I was doing business in so many angles. So I was always busy. I think that's how I settled with her. But I don't regret, by the way. I don't. We started dating when we were really young, but I think it's something that happened in my favor. So we are talking about 19 to 26. We are very emotional beings when we are buying things. Nayo kubagula pen yeno. Umuntu w'emyaka 26, they are not looking at use. They are looking at their connection to the pen. Eri big nze yenkolera obulungi. You ask him manyeti anti emukolera ngatamanyi yenkolera obulungi. They can't really explain it. That's between the ages of 19 to 26. Always have a guardian angel. Your humble opinion on the Crown Hybrid. Yemoroka, it's let me talk about it after here. Arthur, cousin muwe Martha, ate munange nze bangana. Kati sina buzibu ba member we. Why? So, ages 26 to 40, we have a mixture of emotional and practical. And majority of you guys here are between the ages of 20 to 40. We have a mixture of emotion and practicability. Kata utani kwa kurowoza, chovola Bamkake is asking me, I'm going to buy a car, I want to put my things in there, which car should cut practicability jeri. Wachitegeira. Between that age. And majority of you guys that are watching this channel, actually kati, neboba below the age of 26, you're emotional against egwa. Ogendo tegeire into, because this channel, we have shared information that is very important, that enlightens people that majority of people don't have access to or didn't have access to. So, between the ages of 19 to 40, you definitely need a guide, because we have that emotional aspect. However, between the ages of 41 to 60, those people are practical and rational. teba papa bantu 41 to 60 baba they have seen it all okitegeera tebatera ku papa. Now the person that bought a parcel yesterday was between 41 to 60 okitegeera. I think one of the reasons he needed me was because he wanted to get a car first and he didn't want to be cheated okitegeera, but he was practical and rational. Era nga omulaba the way he's composed ayimirira bwati n'agitunulira emmotoka n'agyetegereza n'aga okay I think this will work, I think this. He was very focused okitegeera. Twabadde with my follower from here from YouTube, but you would see the person that we were with, the one from YouTube, he would get excited. But when this guy came and sat in the parcel set, he sat there, he was too practical. He didn't get excited at any moment. There was no emotion at all in his buying process. He sat in the car, he sat in it. There is a kind of focus that people above 40 years have that we that are below 40 years don't have. He sat in the parcel, and then he said, Arthur, what do you think? Like, okay, what do you think professionally? What do you think? But he had already made up his mind. This parcel set because it was a better number plate, better condition, nothing to be done. So between 41 to 60, but still you may need a guide because you're practical and rational. People can take advantage of the practicability and rationality. They get a car that works within your practicability and rationality. They will steal your money. And then after age 60, people go back to being a little emotional after age 60. Ereje emyaka nkaaga abantu batandika n'ofunira dimension, batandika okwera birala, batandika okukolima okitegeere. My mechanic constantly tells me that abantu abakulu bakolima ate banguwa ayinza batalina airtime naga let me use your phone, and then you say mbadde kyagikozesa kale olwokuba nkaddi olwokuba ki, and then you get but after 60 years, if your mother or father is 60 years, tomokkiriza kugula kintu kyonna ng'ali yekka. They go back to emotional versus practical after 60 years. Okitegeera ne balekera okubeera just practical and rational. I remember one of my relatives, I think he made over 60 years and then retired. Yari agenda gula double cabin. I think I give you guys this reference most of the time. Nemugamba omanyi. They even brought me a double cabin, an L200. It was on UAQ, very good bull bars. It was a good car. And they were selling it to me 8 million. And I told him what one double cabin. Gundi ajja kumpa. He was emotionally connected to someone eyamubba. Bamuba. Na gundi ajja kumfunira mmoroka. I told him Rachito muleta n'alaba double cabin eno. Of course he made a few mistakes even before. Okitegeera. So eno double cabin nenjireka yali ya million 8. It was a very good offer nga ne engine ne bweba nfungo ogenda gisiba ogata mu million zo 3 kitundu n'ogwera mu million 12 kale. Okitegeera. But do you know what he did? It was a UAQ, very good. All the tires were okay. The interior was okay. Bamuguza Nissan had bought $1 million. On top of the 20 million, on top of the 20 million, it was a UAF, very old. Now someone is going to tell me the Nissan hardboard is better than the L200. There is no way you're going to compare the Nissan hardboard to the L200. The L200 is very easy to maintain. The hardboard is very hard to maintain. Very expensive. Then it was a UAF. Then amala okugigula nga talina okugifuuyira. Okitegeera. N'ateekamu emitwalo ndooza nga 8 egy'okugifuuyira. Tuyingidde $2 million nga talina yadde omupiira n'ogumu, alina okugula emipiira, buli mupiira ogwo ndooza gwa mitwalo 4. Eri L200 yali ya $8 million ng'emipiira ena gyonna kwegiri miramu. Kale okufuuwa yandifuuye nga bwe mumanyi because he's a very strict person on how things look. But $8 million, you can imagine, and 20 million ofuuyidde emotoka emitwalo 8 ogenda gula emipiira gya $2 million. Okitegeera nga ne wearing wa hardboard yali mufu nga nabyo alina obisasulira. You get emotoka yagula yali packed. Eno L200 yali kukuba nga tugula ku musajja. He was a plumber. He was selling his car because he needed money for something. Just like that, I'm imagining omuntu yamuguza L200 eno, the broker yamugulamu emotoka endala ya $5 million. kuba I'm sure that L200 yaite yinza kusuka million nka 13 ekinene nnyo nga bakubye nnyo kale 13 baje muguze million ameka abiri because as ayingide 60s eyo batandika kuba emotional baba practicability entono but they are emotional okitegeera mbobo ina relative nga ali 60 ngo ina power over them because aba bantu ebisere bisinga baba bantu bakulera nze yannemerera nange era bwe yannemerera nange ne muta ngendo okudanga aguze hard body ngeriko ebyokukola. Actually later on we realized even the engine consumed oil. That's another 4 million that he has to spend on fixing the engine. On top of it, the car was very expensive to maintain. What's that get? So always have a guardian angel, have someone ategere ebintu bye motoka and someone that works in your interest. And for me, you have another advantage into sasula sente emitwalo gana. You have already paid me. Actually nzeri I bargain with you there. No kanya no muntu sente no zisasula. In fact, we gave the guy 21 million. And on top of giving him 21 million, na nsaba n'ebiri gy'amafuta egyavuze moroko gireeta mu kibuga bannanga abantu bakopi. Yangambi Arthur mpe ebiri gyange egy'amafuta egindeese mu kibuga. Nenzimwa. Actually, the person from YouTube was watching. Nensasula ebiri gy'amafuta. Okitegeera? But anyway, I'm happy that we got a good deal for this person because the person said it was a good deal. We saved a minimum 9 million that would have spent extra in the bond, yet we got a car that is almost bond new. Nothing to fix. Then, after 60 years, practicability. It's surprising that 70 years and above, they are practical. Baba tebacha ina chiba papia probably. No kutambula tacha ina chimo papia. Moroka nebo jideta jitunulira ate yameka kolachi addamu okubeera practical. That's why you find that abasajja abakulu ab'emyaka 7-8 they rarely make mistakes because they are too practical. Actually they don't even have a mixture anywhere. They are just practical. Okitegeera oba tokyalina kyogenda mulimba abantu myaka 7 kyobola abantu myaka 7 n'okutunda balwawa ayinza n'okusiiba enjala naye nga alina million 8 mu bbuutu n'atalya because ekinana ekyo kiina kye kigenda okukola. Okitegeera? That's you find that majority of the people that are 70 and above, if they are rich, they continue being rich. It's very hard for them to go. People in their 60s can actually go broke. People in their 60s can go broke because in their 60s they're emotional. Akawara kaverine kamulimba. Now I'm talking about men because I'm a man. I don't know about women mostly. But for abasajja myaka nkaga akawara kaveri kati lwasa like agenda myaka nkaga. Okitegeera bwabata najiweza. Kaverine kamulimba zwi. Mugenda okumulaba muzeeyi yavudde ewuwe agenze n'akawala akato. Mugenda okumulaba atandise okutunda ebyobugagga bye awa agulira akawala emmoroka. Mugenda okulaba mutakyabaagala 60 years. Look at all the families that have wrangles. The fathers are nga bakadde baba myaka nkaga between 60 and 70. That's when also men start making mistakes because they are emotional there. Anyway, siri kubya family. We are talking about cars. Okay? And I just wanted to make sure that you know when to get a good deal. For you to get a good deal when you're buying a car in Uganda, one thing you have to understand, of course, every car has brokers. Arthur, does sex determine our choices? I think yes. For Basaja, we have a lot of adrenaline. We have more adrenaline than women. That's why you find that most of the accidents on the road, it's men that are driving. You find that they are racing each other. Which for us, we have, I think, more chemical reactions than women. That most of the times when a man marries and they marry right, now they develop faster than a single man. When a man marries the right woman, because that right woman will guide you. But if a man marries the wrong woman, it's very hard for them to develop at a good speed because omukazi aba akuzza mabega. Okitegeera ate gwe nga jukira you have that adrenaline bridge. Oyagala buli chokola okikole with all your might. Okitegeera. Arthur, thanks for the lecture. How much is a UBK series cross sport Subaru? Tebede mu million 25 kwambuka waggulu. It's over 25 and above. I'm speculating. I don't know what is in the market right now, but 25 and above. That's what I'm imagining. Okitegeera. So if you want to get a good deal, just know every car will have brokers majority of the time. That's why me, I don't like going to those bonds, use the car bonds. I normally want to buy a car from outside. That's why you find that the primo we saw, this person, the guy brought it himself. He even gave us the transfer forms there and then. I printed the transfer forms from my office. I think I even have a copy. I have a copy of the agreement as well. And then the transfer forms were out. Okay? But I thought I should make this clear. When you go to buy a car, and the person that is selling to you a car, they don't mean they are going to help you in anything that is your responsibility. Tomorrow, of course, I'll handle responsibilities of buyer, seller, broker, and my own responsibilities tomorrow. So that we get this straight, because we had a little misunderstanding, communication mishap yesterday. And I think I need to make sure that all of you guys that follow me, you get this said. But the person didn't have any broker. No, it did not have a broker. The person didn't have a broker. We bought from the real owner. Yeah. I think that's one of the best advantages we got with that one. Yeah. Kuba nyini yagirese era bwe twagenze ku office yange ne mu laptop yange, he went into his team and got us the transfer forms. Yeah, but now actually the transfer process is in play now. I think they gave the mechanic the money for transfer because he does the run around. So he's going to take those papers there. So that's how we went. And then with the IPSAM, it was also a good decision because the IPSAM taina scratch, taina accident history. And then I did not sit in the IPSAM gabagenda kulaba SC, but the SC also works properly. Okitegeera. SC akola bulungi. Emipiira mikadde but ejimipiira jjagigula with time. Okitegeera. Of course twakyusiza twasanze ina leakages. Kuba twalabye oil ng'akendera ku speed. But the person that bought the IPSAM n'alaba ina leakage. He wanted to go fix the leakages today, but yesterday I think my mechanic akene mechanic wange bantu bange basinzo mutawanya nga gendo okolere ono gendo okolere. I said, Arthur, we are here because of you, and I told him, my people, you have to treat them nicely. So he was tired today. They are going to work on the car on Monday. Leakages over Zikole. But it was a good deal. One thing I've tried to do with you guys, the cars you buy with me, you get a good deal that that you're not going to make a loss when it comes time to sell, that it will keep your money. Of course, you have to handle the car properly. Togenda gula motoka lwaliro gitomeze encha ne week ejja olowooza it will keep the same value. Emotoka zino bwe tuzigula kati nga IPSAM twagiguze teina accident history. Twagiguze 5.5. But right now, if you went to the market with that car the way it is, ajja gifunamu million nga mukaaga oba mukaaga kitundu. Okitegeera minimum. Kitegeeza abatakola loss looking at what we have repaired so far. What we have worked on, it's not really repairs because chiri cha gearbox conversion chabadde fefe. We did it because we don't want him to use a lot of fuel. Emotoka za 4 wheels zinyo okitegeera, so that's why I advised him to make it 2 wheel okitegeera. Of course twagisanga nga nyini yo ayitamanyi ndoza bulungi kukola ki kugimaintaininga, so ng'epipiramu naye plug teyaziguze baziwawuddeko. He will buy plugs when he's ready. Naye namugamba ebintu ebimu topapa nnyo okitegeera. Topapa nnyo vuga emmoroka eyo ogiwulire gwe wennyini, ogiwulire ewuukamu, but yagambye ejja bikola later on. Kasita okitegeera nti ejja kwetaaga okukola mu ndoza alignment. Abantu abamu bana emmoroka tebamanyi kuzirabirira, and that's where the trouble. So just to go through what we have covered today, my time is up. Actually, I've used an entire hour, mbadde simanyi nti nasobola okumalako an entire hour. We have gone through 7 concepts when you're buying a car that you need to understand. Concept number 1 was person who is buying. What does that person want? In my case, normally when I'm helping someone buy a car, who is the person that is buying? How old are they? I get the demographics, definitely. Why do they want this car? What are they going to use it for and all? The second concept is use. What are they going to use the car for, or what are you going to use the car for? The third concept is money. Is your budget fixed? Is it open? What's the maximum? What's the minimum? Okay? Then the other concept is time. How much time do you have to buy that car? But I've also told you, if you look for a car for 2 days and you don't find, rest, come on next month. Because that week, that's the condition in the market. So give it another month. Doesn't mean that things will change, but give it another month. So the other concept is that the need The need is the most important thing. I need a car that will do this and this and this and this and this and this. That's a very important thing when you're going to buy a car. The second most important thing is ability. How much can you afford? How much are you able to put on the table to buy a car? The third one is want. But for abavubuka ebiseera ebisinga tutandika na want ne tumaliriza ne ability ne tumaliriza ne need. Then we have also gone through the segments of buying and how people buy. 19 to 26 years, people are normally just emotional. They want to feel good. They want to feel good between 19 to 26. Between 27 and 40 years, people have a mixture of emotional and practical. Okay? Then between the ages of 41 and 60, they have practical, rational. Between the ages of 41 and 60, people rarely make mistakes. Baba, practical and rational. Most people get rich between the ages of 41 and 60. They are practical. Wachtegera, motoka buleke, bomba, leave those cars. They will kill your money. The Nissan Micra, the Nissan March, they will kill your money, I'm telling you. They will kill your money. Leave them. I'm not even going to talk about them. I don't want you to say, let me just buy it. Don't buy it. Buy it. It's better. At the age 60 to 70, people have still now emotional to practical. People make money between 40 and 60, and then that money can go down the drain between 60 and 70. Most rich people on your villages that went down, chances are high that they went down between the ages of 60 and 70. If I'm lying, you tell me. Then, after 70 and above, people are just practical. People rarely make mistakes at 70 and above years. So that's what we have covered today. Those things will help you get a good deal when you go buy a car. Those things are to help you get a good deal when you go to buy a car. Okay? And I want to make it clear that you can go to the field and buy a car without me. If you watch all the videos on this channel, plenty of knowledge. Tomorrow I'll be talking about the responsibilities of the seller, the responsibilities of the buyer, the responsibilities of the broker, the responsibilities of me if you pay me over 100k. Because in the sibagaining of centers matono, you realize that yesterday when we were buying the parcel, I spent 60,000 of the 400,000 they gave me on facilitating the process. We did a URA verification at 20,000. I gave the Primo guys 20,000 to bring them to town. Then I gave the parcel set also 20,000. Kumitwala nage bampadi nasiga zake mitwala asatu mwena. Then nempako makanika nange nesiga zako netunywako na amafuta. Because we moved around. My car was full tank yesterday kati. It turned so kugwako. I'm going to refill I think on Monday. Yeah. So let me just go through them. Thank you, Emma, of course, for always reminding me and being here. Alan, Bamkakea, Martha, Isaac, Tabula Moses, Hanifa, Adam Mugisha, Okot Simon Peter, Paul Banaria, Moses Irario, Nsereko Jonathan, Tarema Paneha, Brian, Matthias, Samson Olaku, Grandma, Senkanja, and Bumba Ismail, and then Adam Mugisha. Namu Abari Mukamori, I don't take you for granted if you're watching there in Kamori. Yeah, I don't take it for granted. Thank you for your advice, your opinion on the Crown Hybrid. Oh, sorry. Crown Hybrid is a very good car. Crown, first of all, you'll never kill the engine. You'll not kill the gearbox. Okay? Now, the Crown, ideally, the Crown should be a fuel consumer because they are 2.4, 3,000 cc, 3.5 cc, and I've seen one that is 4.6 cc. They are powerful. They are stable on the road. They are very fast. They are too comfortable. Okay, but the hybrid will not consume fuel. Hi, Raymond. The hybrid will not consume that much fuel because if you find a hybrid that is 2.0 cc, it will consume like a 1.3 cc. You find a hybrid that is 3.0 cc, it will consume like a 2.0 cc. Okay, so the Crown is a very good car. You can buy it if you can afford it. Yeah, bay but resale value will not be the same, so it will kill some of your money. That's one thing you need to understand, because very few people want to buy the crown because there is a bias on the crown. That's one thing you need to understand. But if you want to buy and drive your car, buy it. It will give you very good comfort. It will give you prestige. It will probably open doors for you, opportunities, because the more the crown. And that's why you find that most people that are driving are either NGOs, embassies, and big men in their 40s and 50s. So that's my opinion. Just buy it. Midway, you will enjoy it. Isaac, did I mention your name? I don't think. Yeah, but guys, thank you very much for being part of this live broadcast. I don't take it for granted. For you guys that give me recommendations for people to get trackers, for me to inspect cars for people, thank you very much. I'll continue to make sure that you guys get good deals. I'll continue to make sure that happiness is everywhere. Yeah. I don't take you for granted. I do pre-purchase inspection. When you're going to buy a car, I come with a mechanic to make sure to make sure you get a good car, and to make sure that even when you get an old car, you get a good deal. Yeah. I make sure that broker atete bakubba chiyitidde broker ali emitwalo 10 agende okitegeera. I also want to make sure that you get a car that has good paperwork. Nga tegenda gula motoka egenda kufuuka nzibe okitegeera. I sell tracking devices between 350 to 450,000. I sell car alarms at 250,000. okitegeera. I'm also a marketer, a very good one. If you have a business that is struggling, chances are high that your problem is marketing. Awosasula akasente akawerako, but yeah, I'm very good. I'll make sure that your business gets to profitability in a very, very short time. Anyway, it's weekend. I'm babysitting. That's why you see that I'm home. I didn't even go to gym. Mama Aban had to work today, so I had to stay home and babysit. I did muchomo for the boys. Naye ennyama kumpi yonna etusiiriddeko tubadde tetumanyi kwokya nnyama abayaye bookya ennyama ku street bamanyi kye bakola, but the boys enjoyed. They ate meat ne bawoomerwa, so I bought them a big soda ne balya ennyama nga be banywa soda. Naye ennyama emu ebadde ekaluba. Aban said, Daddy, this is hard. Ne muga try harder. You're a boy. And he ate. Anyway, that's what babysitting when you're dad. It's supposed to be different. When mommy is there, they eat food. When mommy is not there, you need to give it a little special treat, so that your kids say, hey, but dad, when dad is here, we do special things. Anyway, guys, I wish you a very good Saturday. Tomorrow, I'll be live at 5:15. Yeah, talking about the responsibilities of a seller, buyer, broker, mechanic, nange mwenyini if you hire me to do pre-purchase inspection for you. I wish you a very good Saturday evening. Ciao.